On October 20th, 1790, Joseph Mountain stood before 10,000 onlookers, condemned to die. His crime? Rape, but his true sin? Being a black man in a system that saw his very existence as a threat. Like so many black men before him and after him, Mountain's fate was sealed, not by evidence, but by the color of his skin, and the fear of those who ruled over him. Joseph Mountain was born in the late 1750s to a free black family in Connecticut. From a young age, he lived in a world where black people, whether free or enslaved, were treated as outsiders, never quite part of the so-called American dream. Even in the North, where slavery was being slowly phased out, white society made sure that black men remained under control, and if there was one thing they feared the most, it was a black man with agency. That's where David Daggett comes in, a man who spent his life ensuring that people like Joseph Mountain would never be seen as equals. Mountain was accused of raping a white woman, but here's the problem. There was no physical evidence and no witnesses. His conviction was based entirely on her word. For Daggett and the courts, this wasn't about justice. It was about control. White society was gripped by the fear of black men, a fear so powerful that it didn't need any proof, only a whisper of accusation. More than 80% of men executed for rape between 1700 and 1820 were black. This wasn't just a coincidence, this was systemic. This false narrative that black men were inherently violent and a danger to white women would fuel centuries of racial terror. From the slave patrols of the 18th century to the lynch mobs of the Jim Crow era, public executions like Mountain's were not just punishments, they were performances of power, meant to reinforce white supremacy. As detailed in Religion and the Modern City, 1865 to 1945, these spectacles were a part of a broader moral panic in the North, where racial laws were influenced by fear of societal collapse and the desire to maintain public order. While awaiting execution, Joseph Mountain was confined in New Haven City Jail, hoping for a chance at leniency. In his final petition, Mountain pleaded with the Connecticut General Assembly, asking for his life to be spared. He proposed exile or hard labor at Newgate Prison instead of death, even expressing willingness to be sold abroad. However, his plea was ignored. Mountain's trial and execution weren't just about one man, they were a message to every free black person in Connecticut. Step out of line and this will be your fate. If Joseph Mountain's execution was a tragedy, David Daggett's career was a disaster for every black person in America. Daggett wasn't just a judge, he was an architect of racial oppression. Crandall's estate in 1883 saw Daggett ruling that black children had no right to an education in Connecticut. He fought to keep black men from ever casting a ballot. He ensured that black Americans remained second-class citizens. To him, Joseph Mountain was never going to be innocent, because to Daggett, no black man could ever truly be free. This same fear led to miscegenation laws, bans on interracial marriage that lasted for centuries. Even after slavery ended, states like Virginia held onto these laws until 1967, when the Loving v. Virginia case finally struck them down. But Mountain's case, and the system that condemned him, set the stage for these laws for segregation, and for the mass incarceration of black men today. Joseph Mountain's story is not just history, it's a reminder that America's legal system was never neutral. From city jails like the one in New Haven to modern prisons, from Daggett's rulings to today's courtrooms, the question has never been guilt or innocence. The question has always been, who does the law protect and who does it condemn?